Tony.
Yeah. Hey, 24/7 been working. Music keep me on my feet. Moms and pops have been banking that moolah with all they children. Got a family to feed. Oh yeah, I be about my business, chasing after labels. They don't gotta chase me. They shouldn't have to. I battle daily with my mind, cause it's filled with a dream. I gotta start living that. In the ammo that is shot through lines, I will load my 9 and then I give it back. Beam me on them like it's laser tag. Oh, you've been asking questions, I've been counting blessings. Women know by now that I would never stress them. Madden bands like mathematics lessons. Notebook on the way, I gotta book some sessions. Y'all been on this grind, ain't notice it. Hope I can team up with Yogi, split God on waste space. Try that smell love and Kev really on this shit. Sick man, I love you. That beef shit is over with 24/7. 24/7. I write the chains, lies, a whole audience catching. Catching that change like I aim to close range. Be that pain to the grain with the trigger impressive. No one knows what I'm producing for sure. Know that my crew really do this for sure. No one can say they saw two to the point. I've been hotter than Lucifer's flow when destroying boy. Please don't try and give me compliments. I don't need love when I'm confident in my own game. Niggas screaming out dimes and shit label me great over all my accomplishments. Knowing my topic trend. Open my topic trend.
Yeah, young niggas stepping up into the game. Chains on my back, got me feeling like Luke Cage. Feeling with rage, spitting this pain. Trying to spread my wings like a bird in a cage. People keep saying Moon Savage have changed. The only thing changed about me is my lanes. Don't fuck with these niggas, cause niggas is lame. I stay to myself and I just do my thing. People keep saying I'm so stuck in my ways. I'm getting to the glass so different island feel the same. I'm a lyrical weapon, I'm a 30 when it bang. I'm a lyrical weapon, I'm a 30 when it bang. Down got the pumpy, this up in the press it. Moon got the 40, this up in the wet it. Leave you beheaded, nigga, I get it. Nigga, I gotta turn up. 24/7 I'm working. Young niggas scratching the surface. My niggas is trapping the serving. I used to be sitting in service. Lord knows a nigga ain't perfect. Everything I got, bitch, I earned it. This world is mine, I deserved it. 24/7, 24/7, 24/7 I'm working. Young niggas scratching the surface. My niggas is trapping the serving. I used to be sitting in service. Lord knows a nigga ain't perfect. Everything I got, bitch, I earned it. This world is mine, I deserve it. 24/7, 24/7.
I left my brother at home. No more texting, no more calling my phone. I'm in my zone. Parents don't fuck with me. Luckily, I got a voice that is gold. It is me versus my verses. Pick my verse up when you're versing. I've been hurting, you've been lurking. 24/7, I'm working. Yeah. Donovan Michael, man, comeback season.
Ghost.
Watching television with the best kid. Global linking like the gold chain on my necklace. I will body anybody talking reckless. This for anybody trying to step in, you get cut like Smith and Wesson. Oh, I'ma tell y'all who the best is. Tell Columbia they made a good investment. Tell Columbus that I'm chasing after fame now. I need 100K a show in my possession. Question, represent my brother like a best man. Global to the death of me, I vow it with my left hand. Right hand on the Bible, I done preach to make a difference. I will eat to bring the feet on opponents who never listen. Don't never give out no features unless you fit the description of talent. And if you don't, then you'll never fill that position of winning. I'll say it nice, but I never repeat it twice. I've been cooking to feed the heights, so your verses made it assistance, yeah.
Flex. Yeah. Way back when I was broke, they ain't want me, but now I'm back up. Got some fakes and I started to count you, I'm getting my stacks up. If you ain't on that money mission, only words that I got is back up. Cause I got a couple killers if you're feeling like you need to act up. Please don't try to come and flex again. Don't flex, see I got more essays than the Mexican. No stress, your girl scream my name like my only friend. And they need to on me like my only friend. Pack of pussies when it's in the holster. Fast money like I'm moving soda. Fast money hitting in a sofa. And my wrist is flicking like I'm cooking soda. Yoko said she want me. Had to distance. She was with the homie, so we had to flip her. She was going down. Yelling timber and that Nina on me, so don't try to tempt her. Really just started going by the cold. Man, that's sleeping on me. Man, it's getting old. You can call the game, but they never fold. You can play the game, but my player pose. Derek on me, like that speaker knockers. Got that taller on me, and it's going young, cause I ain't never worried. Stay on by the button up your shirt, but my third stop. You like, whoa, man, these rappers getting bold. Telling stories like they fold. I never fold. Pull up 100, so I'm flexing. Yoko steady trying to text me, and she just met me. I show her the realest, she let me. So please don't try to test me, and I'm going lefty. She pull up with Benzie, I'm flexing. She said she wanted so shifty, like. It's crazy how the story goes, baby. And I know you've been stressing a lot lately. It's crazy how her soul is screaming, save me. And I know what she wants, she's screaming, lay me down, 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 down. Baby screaming, lay down. Ain't no time to play now. Change my player ways. Crazy how she thinks I changed now. Yeah. Money mission, we need it, so give us them fast bucks. 100K up in the safe for my Uzi and Max, I be strapped up. If you talking tough, we hit you up, never ask us when you act up. Better believe, cause we flex to run the game on all of these niggas. Yeah, money mission, we need it. Money mission, we need it. I wanna ball, I want my name on all the fake wall. This ain't a game I go out like LeBron, and when I hit the stage, you know I'm a star. Yeah. Me and Keithan on a mission to get in our stats up. Yeah, catch a flight tonight, I'm ready, got everything packed up. Yeah, got my shooters with me, don't get close to me and act up. Well, we got our cash up, we got my green in the Packers, yeah. Niggas be faking, flopping, playing roles like they actors. Yeah, claim they knew his drop is gonna be better than their last one. Yeah, let's be honest, I'm like Usain Bolt the way I pass don't be the one getting passed up. Wanna know the way you view me, what's your thoughts on me like Aubrey's last album? I win a Grammy, a BET, standing ovation, the praise for my travel, my journey. I earned it from learning, from bridges burning. I'm the greatest and you see the outcome. Failure I never would fathom. Slaughter to be like I'm 21 on this birthday, well, we getting faster. Yeah, boy, God's waiting for me. I think the people been patient with me. Waving my dreams are the way that they seemed in the sheets. And people been patient with me, so bedtime's the correct time to get in a section. Write my blessings down when I'm asleep. Counting down, that's why y'all catching shit. Yeah.
Flex.
Way back when I was broke, they ain't want me, but now I'm back up. Got some fakes and I started to count you, I'm getting my stacks up. If you ain't on that money mission, only words that I got is back up. Cause I got a couple killers if you're feeling like you need to act up. Please don't try to come and flex again. Don't flex, see I got more essays than the Mexican. No stress, your girl scream my name like my only friend. And they need to on me like my only friend. Flex. Yeah. Way back when I was broke, they ain't want me, but now I'm back up. Got some fakes and I started to count you, I'm getting my stacks up. If you ain't on that money mission, only words that I got is back up. Cause I got a couple killers if you're feeling like you need to act up. Please don't try to come and flex again. Don't flex, see I got more essays than the Mexican. No stress, your girl scream my name like my only friend. Yeah, and they need to on me like my only friend. Pack of pussies when it's in the holster. Fast money like I'm moving soda. Fast money hitting in a sofa, and my wrist is flicking like I'm cooking soda. Yo, girl said she want me, had to distance. She was with the homie, so we had to flip her. She was going down, yelling timber and that Nina on me, so don't try to tempt her. Really just started going by the code, man. It's sleeping on me, man. It's getting old. You can call the game, but they never fold. You can play the game, but my player pose. Derek on me, but that speaker knockers got that Tyler on me, and it's going young, cause I ain't never worried. Stay on by the button up your shirt, but my third to stop you like, whoa. Man, these rappers getting bold, telling stories like they fold. I never fold, pull up 100, I'm flexing. Yo, girl steady trying to text me, and she just met me. I show her the real and she let me. So don't try to test me, and I'm going lefty. She pull up with Nancy, I'm flexing. She said she wanted some shifty, like. It's crazy how the story goes, baby. And I know you've been stressing a lot lately. It's crazy how her soul is screaming to save me. And I know what she wants, she's screaming, lay me down, 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 down. Baby screaming, lay down, ain't no time to play now. Change my player ways, crazy how she thinks I changed now. Yeah. Money mission, we need it, so give us them fast bucks. 100K up in the safe for my Uzi and Max, I be strapped up. If you talking tough, we hit you up, never ask us when you act up. Better believe, cause we flex and run the game on all of these niggas. Yeah, money mission, we need it. Money mission, I wanna ball, I want my name on all the fake wall. This ain't a game I call like LeBron, and when I hit the stage, you know I'm a star. Yeah. Me and Keith been on a mission to get in our stats up. Yeah, catch a flight tonight, I'm ready, got everything packed up. Yeah, got my shooters with me, don't get close to me and act up. But we got our cash up, we got my green in the Packers, yeah. Niggas be faking, flopping, playing roles like they actors. Yeah, think they knew his drop is gonna be better than they last one. Yeah, let's be honest, I'm like Usain Bolt, the way I pass don't be the one getting passed up. Wanna know the way you view me, what's your thoughts on me like Aubrey's last album? I want a Grammy, a BET, standing ovation, the praise for my travel, my journey. I earned it from learning, from bridges burning. I'm the greatest and you see the outcome. Failure I never would fathom. Slaughter the beat like I'm 21 on his birthday, we're getting faster. Yeah, more cars waiting for me. I think the people been patient with me. Waving my dreams are the way that they seemed in the sheets. And people been patient with me. So, bedtime's the correct time to get in a session. Write my blessings down when I'm asleep. Counting down, that's why y'all catching shit. Yeah.
Flex.
Way back when I was broke, they ain't want me, but now I'm back up. That's some fakes and I started to count you, I'm getting my stacks up. If you ain't on that money mission, only words that I got is back up. Cause I got a couple killers if you're feeling like you need to act up. Please don't try to come and flex again. Don't flex, see I got more essays than the Mexican. No stress, your girl scream my name like my only friend. And they need to on me like my only friend. Flex.
One, two, check 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. It's really you. Yeah, trust me. I'd have drank about 3 of these waters trying to get myself together. Bro, get that Benadryl pill. Take pop. Oh yeah, that's cool. You gonna get sick. You gotta put the phone up to your ear, bro, so you can. WTMH Radio. This is 94 Feet and Beyond show. Can you hear me? Say something.
What's going on? How y'all doing? Y'all having a good time? We got We got the sick fire. We got a sick fire.
Check 1, check 2. Can you hear me okay?
That worked.
You hear me perfectly?
Yeah.
All right, good. All right, cool. Yeah, just did a little, just a quick phone check real quick. I just wanted to
Flex. Yeah. Way back when I was broke, they ain't want me, but now I'm back up. Got some fakes and I started to count you, I'm getting my stacks up. If you ain't on that money mission, only words that I got is back up. Cause I got a couple killers if you're feeling like you need to act up. Please don't try to come and flex again. Don't flex, see, I got more essays than the Mexican. No stress, your girl scream my name like my only friend. And they need to on me like my only friend. Pack of pussies when it's in a holster. Fast money like I'm moving soda. Fast money hitting in a sofa. And my wrist is flicking like I'm cooking soda. Yo, girl said she want me. Had to distance. She was with the homie, so we had to flip, but she was going down. Yelling timber and that Nina on me, so don't try to tempt her. Really just started going by the code. Man, it's sleeping on me, man, it's getting old. You can call the game, but they never fold. You can play the game, but my player pose. Derek on me, but that speaker knockers. Got that Tyler on me, and it's going young, cause I ain't never worried. Stay unbothered, button up your shirt, but my thought to stop you like, whoa. Man, these rappers getting bold, telling stories like they fold. I never fold, pull up 100s, I'm flexing. Yo, go steady trying to text me, and she just met me. I show her the real, she let me. So please don't try to test me, and I'm going lefty. She pull up with Benzie, I'm flexing. She said she wanted some shifty, like. It's crazy how the story goes, baby. And I know you've been stressing a lot lately. It's crazy how her soul is screaming to save me. And I know what she wants, she's screaming, lay me down, 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 down. Baby screaming, lay down. Ain't no time to play now. Change my player ways. Crazy how she thinks I changed now. Yeah. Money mission, we need it, so give us them fast bucks. 100K up in the safe for my Uzi and Max, I be strapped up. If you talking tough, we hit you up, never ask us when you act up. Better believe that. So this nigga run all of these niggas.
Yeah. Hey. Welcome. 94 feet beyond. It's good to be back. We back.
Yes, we here. I'm barely here, but I'm here.
Yes.
I think it's my allergies or something driving me crazy, but we're here and we're ready to go.
We appreciate everybody that's tuning in, all of our viewers, all of our listeners. We're looking forward to a great show today, man. And I'm glad to be back in the building. It's been a while since I've been in here with you.
Yes, I said I wasn't here, then you weren't here. Now we're here together. We missing Ice today.
Yeah, we missing Ice. I think Ice may be on her way. Everybody was in a little bit of traffic and our busy lives.
Right.
We definitely gonna have a great show, man. And like I said, I'm glad to be back in the building with my peoples.
Yes.
To bring y'all the best of what we do. So just to let y'all know, we have got a good show planned, man. I mean, we got some real great guests coming on. We have the Godmother. She'll be our call-in guest. And our guest that's coming in is Coach Hornsberger. So I'll stay tuned, and we're going to keep y'all up to date on everything that's going on. And talk with them, pick their brains, see what they got going on.
Yeah.
So before we get started, though, I want to say I'm sure I'll probably speak for everybody that we want to send prayers out to people that's in Texas, Houston.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Definitely stay Houston strong. And it's, the stuff that I've been seeing is great to see that as a country, as people, individuals, races, we can all come together and support each other when it's tragedies like that happen, because we all the same. We all created equal. So
right.
It's definitely great to see everybody bonding together, but it shouldn't have to be a tragedy like that for that to happen. So again, prayers go out to them.
Yeah, I've seen some of even the local basketball teams. I've seen Newark girls basketball were sending some basketball clothes or athletic gear to, and I shout out Newark. That's awesome. That's awesome. I saw that, and I'm sure there's others that's working out there. If you are, you can let us know. You can call in. Matter of fact, let us know. We can send stuff, or if you have some type of something going on where you're trying to help Houston out, just let us know.
Definitely. I seen Newark. I think I saw Reynoldsburg. I believe SO50's putting something together.
Okay.
I want to say OGBR may have sent some things down or putting something together also. So
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, for everybody that's out there, like she said, and if you plan on putting something together and you want us to, let everybody know, if you need people to come by and donate anything like that, just let us know. Hit us on the page or anything like that. We'll definitely try to get you in touch with the right people and make sure that gets taken care of, because if it was me, I would definitely want the help. So right. I'm sure that they appreciate any and all.
Anything, definitely. And I just love to see the girls working together. Just a reminder too, Ice and I told y'all last week too, just to, tag She Got Next or tag one of us and let us know if you have something going on with your organization or your basketball team or your school, anything to do with girls basketball, let us know. Somebody's doing something well. We're here. We want to shout out, give out positive vibes. So again, that's just another friendly reminder to tag us if you got something you want us to put out there.
Yeah, that's it. And also, Afrocentric's putting something together too for the victims of Harvey. So shout them out, and definitely lend a hand any way you can, man. Definitely lend a hand. So on to some of our other things we want to get you updated on. Shout out to some of the fall leagues. Let's bring that up.
I think last week we talked about the Hoopsters. We couldn't think of any other ones. There's some other ones out there.
This week, Ohio Sports Plus.
They got one. Okay.
They have one coming up. So if you
what's the ages for that or grades? Is it high school or?
That is, grab that real quick. So for them, I believe it's third. I think they're starting in third grade.
Okay.
So
is it going up through high school?
Yeah, I believe it's going through high school. And
again, excuse me, those that are watching and not listening. I'm blowing my nose. I apologize for that.
Definitely coming in. That's great, though. Yeah, I think there's this high school to the younger kids, third grade, 3rd through 12th. And if you need any more information on that, you can go to ohiosportsplus.com. And that information should be on there. And like you said, the Hoopsters. And
if there's any other leagues, let us know. I think I saw something Tanya McClure was doing with something with the 3-on-3. I don't know if it's closed or not, but yeah, I think it was middle schoolers. I'm not sure if it's still open for registration or not.
I think they're still doing theirs as a 3-on-3 Academy of Fall League, and you can get information with that off the www.girlsleadershipbasketball.com, and you can check out their Facebook page. And I believe they also have their Buckeye Impact Health and Performance. Their fall schedule is also out there. And Akron Pro-Am.
Okay.
They're having a girls fall league for all our people out there in Akron, Akron area. So you can get in touch with them. And Camp One's having they're having like a fall league, a showcase down in Kentucky. So it's definitely a lot of people that's doing a lot of things. So if you want us to,
welcome, Ice is here. She made it. She's here. She's here.
The whole gang is back.
This is the first time in a while we done all been here. Everybody here. How's that?
Everybody's watching. Okay. Just giving out our shout outs for fall leagues.
Oh no, I guess it's first.
So yeah.
There's also a lot of open gyms. We were talking about that last week too. I know Afrocentric has open gyms. What day is it? Tuesday?
Actually starts on Friday.
This Friday? Oh, it's the first.
Friday.
I know. I should have known. McKinney got it started on Thursday. I see you out there, McKinney. Get him out there. Get him out there. First day available.
Saturday morning at 7 a.m.
What time is it Friday?
He said 3 to 5. I don't know who's gonna make it there.
I'm about to say we can't be there at 3, but
Yeah.
for people
But
outside
it's
of
till
that.
5.
Okay.
So yeah.
But that's good.
Yeah, you know, day one.
He's like, he's right out there ready. Be ready. Be ready. Okay.
So how's everybody doing?
Everybody's great. No, that's what we just said.
I'm barely breathing, but I'm here.
Right. Yeah.
I'm here. I'm
You
here.
got fall allergies?
I think this is what it is. It's allergies. I got the chills right now too, so I'm hoping it's just allergies.
Okay.
Because I don't got time for this.
Wait. Hold on.
I don't have time. I got way too much going on in my
This
life right now. So
Yes.
I'm praying it's just allergies.
Where the
You
spray
know?
at?
Right. Y'all ain't no Lysol. Listen.
I'm over here. That's what I said. I'm sorry. I keep wiping my
The
nose.
chills is not allergies.
That's what I said. I don't know. It might have just. I don't know.
Quarantine.
But I'm here. I'm here. I'm in good spirits. Barely breathing, but you know,
That's what
always ready to talk about basketball.
coming in for the team.
See?
I done missed so much from over the summer. I was like, let's not try to miss one today. Let's come on in. I'm not dead, so I'm still here.
And you know, with all so much to talk about, come September 1st.
Yeah.
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 I don't want to be in y'all shoes.
Transition.
September 1st.
Yeah, transition. So
This is
it just came so
It's
quickly.
about to be crazy.
very quickly.
It just came so quickly. Like
For all of our junior.
it's 2019.
Parents.
Yeah.
2019.
Wow.
It's getting ready to go down September 1st. It can happen at any
Make sure
time.
your phone
of
is
the day,
charged.
midnight. Or change your phone number.
Change your
One
phone
of
number. Start up a new email.
Right.
Right.
So,
Yes. So today, on our little, shindig, I found out that as of August 1st now, these colleges they do the little photo shoots with your kids or whatever.
Uh-huh.
They can give you the pictures now.
Oh, that's
So
nice.
they had like a whole little photo shoot. And then all the pictures laid out. And then they put them
That's
on
really
the-
nice.
Yeah.
They was
That's a
doing
nice
it there.
part.
Yeah, that was really
I
nice.
was like, what?
Yeah,
Wow.
that's really nice.
They taking it to the next level with this recruiting.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Yeah.
That's nice.
So just so you know, with that's another thing I wanted to talk about. I don't know when our college is calling in, but I was talking to I don't know if I was talking to you or not, Rico, but I think I was talking to Serena about the difference in the official visits.
Yeah, that's what I was telling her because I didn't realize it because she has a visit schedule and I didn't know that. I didn't really realize the differences in
Yeah. For the official visits, the girls can't take official visits where they pay for everything and have to come out until April, which is after the women's championship game. I think maybe a week after the women's championship game. And whereas boys, they can start taking official visits their junior year, January 1st.
That's crazy though. I didn't realize that. I didn't really realize the difference.
I didn't either, and I didn't realize. I didn't know. I didn't know how it all worked until I kind of just did some research on it.
I did a little bit, but I didn't check on everything because I know there were certain things with her going on a visit. She's going on September 23rd. They sent the information to us in the email, and it was saying like what they couldn't do because NCAA regulations. I thought September 1st we could do whatever. Like I was so
that's
confused.
an evaluation.
Yeah.
Right before evaluation, the 23rd, 24th, I think is their last evaluation period or so. So there's certain things.
I just didn't understand that. I was like, oh, okay.
It's very complicated. For those that are listening, make sure you read the fine lines and all of that on the NCAA eligibility and all of how all of that works, because it's kind of complicated. The quiet period, the dead period, the evaluation period. They can call you, but they can't talk to you on campus at some point. And sometimes they can.
Oh, Jesus.
The NCAA, I guess, laid out these rules because they wanted to kind of give the kids a break from the recruiting. So they try to do stipulations where you have to you know, some things you need to do it and cut it off.
Yeah.
So, I am still not at all the way completely clear, but there's a calendar out there that tells you, you know, that blocks out each day, you know, and what they are. Yeah, so that you know what period you're in and what you're allowed to do and what the coaches are allowed to do and what they're not allowed to do, so that you are not, you know, don't have any issues rise. Then I also heard y'all talking about the other schools. I think Gahanna Lincoln, that's what I think you're talking about, Tanya. But she had put, I think they're doing something for Houston as well. And Pickerington Central. I saw them. They've already gathered some items.
I'll say something to you after. Okay. Yeah, that's a good idea, though. That's really good.
Yeah. And it all stemmed from a tweet. So what it is and what it was there was a male basketball player, and what he did was he put out like a challenge for basketball players to get involved, and coaches and players. So coaches and players basically to get involved to help out. So he started there was a tweet. Let me see. This is how we got involved, because I sent it to Coach McKinney, and I was like, this would be something nice for the girls to do.
I was thinking maybe we should do something with the whole city together, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, definitely.
So we can do more, because you know, like Newark and Rake have bigger schools, but maybe if we come together, a few of the schools.
So it's Coach Kelvin Sampson. It was a tweet from the University of Houston basketball. So I had.
Okay, I think we got our caller. We got our caller. 94 feet and beyond.
Hello.
Hello.
This is the godmother.
Good evening. How you doing?
Welcome.
How are you?
We are great. Great. Glad to hear you calling in, and glad to have you on our show. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because my mic is a little bit low. So for our callers and our listeners who's listening, if you can you just tell our listeners who you are and give us a little bit of your background, if you would? I appreciate it.
Well, I'm laughing because, Rico, you put out just the godmother, and I guess that's become my official name.
Right.
My real name is Lisa Bodine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. New York. And I've been coaching, playing, advising, scouting probably for over 3 decades. And it's, you know, a gradual process. But I'm now in the DMV area in Virginia.
Okay.
And I've been here for this area for about 20 years. And right now, I scout for Blue Star. I also do large now middle school event called the Rites of Passage in August.
Okay.
And, you know, I'm just out here. I'm just out here trying to, you know, really grow the game and kind of keep the sanity of the next generations coming through, you know, to help girls and their families have opportunities that weren't accessible to a lot of people. And, you know, kind of just, you know, keep things on an even keel in terms of basketball and the realities of what can be achieved and what can't be, you know, and some of the issues that come up.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
All right, so you may have heard us talking about some of the things that's coming up for the 2019 class, some of the things that they can do and some of the things that they can't do.
Yeah, I mean, recruiting, they you know, the NCAA is what they are. I mean, in terms of women's basketball, it's a non-revenue producing sport. So I know you mentioned that the boys can take visits in January, but the girls, they're switching now. They're going back to the way it was before. They can take their visits after the NCAA championship.
Right.
Well, obviously, this is an economic thing because males have the opportunity to leave. So the one and done situation is pushing a lot of kids. It's also, if you notice, there's reverse reclassification on the boy side.
That makes sense.
Guys are going in earlier because they're going to come out, earlier.
Okay.
Oh yeah. We were talking about we were at a school was asking one of the questions that we always ask is the graduation rate, and it seems like a lot of the graduation rates are going down because of that. The guys coming in and doing the one and done, so they're not really graduating. They may come back and finish your degree, but most times, well, I don't know most times, but a lot of times, especially now, since they're giving them that option, so it's so prevalent that it is affecting their graduation rates.
Yeah, and I mean that's an adjustment that the NCAA has to make. But I mean, basketball, football are the money sports.
Right.
So I mean, and that's male basketball.
Exactly.
I think there are only 2 schools or maybe one that are actually that are actually in the black in terms of women's basketball programs. But that's the whole discussion for another day.
Mm-hmm.
I think right now, social media, the way that this generation gets news, the way they produce news, the way everybody wants something quickly. You have it at your fingertips.
Right.
You don't no longer have to go to the store and buy a newspaper.
Exactly.
You can pick up your phone and read a tweet. And it has its good parts and it has its bad parts.
Right.
I think one of the biggest issues that I see with parents on the girl side is that they try to carry it almost like, your daughter is not going to make, $6 million.
Right. Exactly.
Going to the WNBA. Maybe she's the CEO of a company, she might.
Right.
But the trends that are on the boy side, and I don't know if you've seen the little, they put out the little videos when they're going to sign, and one of the big football recruits had a big thing, him going through the streets of New York, and they had a billboard for each school. Well, I saw one for a girl who was basically like, hey, everybody's free to do what they want to do, but she was, a 2-star, 3-star recruit, going to a lower Division I school, and made this whole big production. And it's like, are you in love with the process or are you in love with the game?
Right.
Yeah. And the amount of videos that I get sent are hilarious. I mean, just like nobody, and nobody wants to see a highlight video. Nobody wants to see that. And somebody put out a tweet about coaches want to see how you react to a bad situation.
Right.
They want to see after you miss 4 shots. Or after you trip over the foul line, or after your teammate gets in your face. How do you react?
Yeah, those are important. Those are the important things. That's what I always tell them. When we had discussions about it, and I say, a lot of times when the coaches are there watching you, they're not watching to see how well you play. They're watching to see how well you react or you respond during those situations. Like, are you being a good teammate? Are you sitting on the bench slunging or pouting, mad because the coach took you out? Are you paying attention? Are you cheering for your teammates? Because that's what a lot of people, girls and boys alike, I think, don't realize sometimes that you're part of a team. This isn't tennis or, a game where you play when you're playing, something where you're playing alone, where you
I mean, and the thing is that I think that parents that try to step in and fix things are creating problems. And it's not just in basketball. It's a societal thing, because in my profession, I, obviously work with junior people and dealing with them, interviewing them. I see some really kind of disturbing trends where mom and dad or whoever the guardian is has smoothed things over for them. And when a challenge comes up, they don't know how to handle it.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, they just fall apart. And you're creating, you know, I don't know, I guess it's the generation of people that are like the generation behind me that are raising these kids. I'm not sure what went wrong or where it went wrong, but your kids are not an appendage, you know.
Right.
You gave them life, but they're not an appendage, and they're not there to live out your dreams. They're there to live out their dreams.
Right.
You're just there to provide vehicles for them to get to where they want to go.
And be supportive of what it is that they're doing. But if you, you know, I mean, like you said, that's in anything. Because, you know, I know, you know, sometimes I see where parents enable their kids and then they wonder why they don't leave. They can't leave home because they can't.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, see, when we grew up, that wasn't an option.
Right. Exactly. Right. At 18, I moved out. I went to school, and through all my ups and downs, I never went back home. It just wasn't an option. It just wasn't. And now it's like, you know, oh, let me fix your play, and you 23.
And it's crazy because now I think it also has to do with they don't want anyone to lose. I don't know if it's society or how it's just put together in sports right now, but you get a participation trophy. I mean, like, what are you teaching them? Like, okay, well, it's all right if we lose, we still get a trophy.
Exactly. So your trophy looks just like their trophy.
Right. So it transitions over to life. Like, well, I don't have to come and I don't have to put in the effort to get a great job. Somebody's going to take care of me. Something's going to happen for me. When it's really not like that. So
that's not.
I think that's part of the problem too, as far as like the older generation. When you played sports, you played hard and you did things because you wanted to win, because you had that drive to win. Because it's almost like when you're playing pickup. If you're all out there and it's a team and you lose, it's probably like 30 people. You may not get back on the court. So you have a little more hunger.
Oh yeah, that was the playground. You know, that everybody has a trainer now. The playground has a trainer.
Right.
Right. Like
everybody got a trainer.
You didn't get back on the court. You need to go figure out how to get back on the court without any help.
Right.
But I think that, you know, especially in the area that I'm in, Northern Virginia, we have, you know, this area has very wealthy counties, some of the wealthiest counties in the country. Loudoun County, Fairfax, Prince George's County has the highest per capita income rate of African American families. So people have resources, and they will spend it on, you know, the craziest things for their kids, but sometimes not focusing on that. You know, money can't buy you, you know, a jump shot. You know, money
that is
not
so
going to be able to buy you, you know.
Hard for one thing, you definitely can.
Yeah, it's not going to be able to buy you win. And, you know, there are teams that people will, you know, hey, we're going to this tournament, we're playing in this tournament, you know, blah, blah, blah. But they'll play down in the competition. They have the funkiest uniforms. I've seen everything from the tricolor. I think I'm on, like, the fashion, like, on a runway.
Oh,
like,
no. My husband called them the all-airport team.
Yeah, exactly. All airport. Oh, we going
like they just got off the plane and I'm
like,
looking nice.
Nobody on your, but you can't play.
Right. Because like, don't be the all airport team. Y'all looking all nice and then get out here and stink up the court.
Everybody's got LeBrons. Everybody wristband, headband.
Right.
No, I'm gonna give a shout out to the first, like the next team that I see that comes through. We're just wearing a band, basically black reversible, black and white reversible.
Right.
And that's when I coached a Team Unique, which is kind of I say quote air quote legendary club team out of the DC area, and we were notorious for not having enough jerseys, and you know, or just having basic jerseys that maybe like we use like tape to make the numbers. But every single one of our kids got a scholarship.
Right.
That's
all
what
that's the goal.
We have what you're doing it for.
We've got doctors, lawyers. I mean, we have a history of kids that have made it out. And it was like, you know what? You know, the year that we got uniforms, we actually got real uniforms. The older girls were like, man, y'all soft. Y'all got
Right. Y'all got that handed
Y'all
to
got
you.
that.
Y'all
Yeah,
look
y'all
nice, so
baby
of course
now.
you feel good.
Right.
We helped y'all get them uniforms.
Right. Yep, that's how it be. So did you?
We put.
Oh, go ahead.
I think we put importance. We putting importance on some of the wrong things.
Right.
That's true. That
Right.
is so true.
You know. So when I stopped coaching, that was what you're gonna ask. When I coached, that I started coaching in my 20s, in my mid 20s. You know, after kids, after school. You know, I had my kids, but you know, I coached in New York for a pretty big club team, the Gazelles, and things were a little bit different back then, so it wasn't as much travel. And back, you know, and from New York, everybody's like, hey, you want to play us? Just come to the city. We ain't, you know, we'll go to Jersey or Philly. That was about it.
Okay.
But, you know, coaching has changed. And the reason why I got in, you know, the progression to become a scout, I think was just a natural progression for me. But it was also, it was harder and harder to coach because of the parents. You know, and I'm seeing this with a lot of people who I know that are around my age, that are really good coaches, that have been successful, that are turning it in because they just can't deal with parents. And, you know, I've told other parents, you know, they're like, well, this parent is crazy and that one. If you are a parent on a team and you've got that parent, and we all know who that parent is.
Yes, we do.
You got to put them in check, because what's happening now is people are getting run off from youth sports.
Right.
So, you know, these are people who are volunteering their time. They may not even have a kid that plays. You know, I didn't have a daughter. I have sons. You know, I didn't have a kid that played. You're investing your time, your money, your energy, because you care and you love it.
Right.
But when you're, you know, getting blasted with emails and text messages at, you know, 12 o'clock in the, you know, midnight.
Yeah.
Somebody's whining and complaining, and it's like, you know what? You're not respecting my space. You know, what I'm trying to do for a team, not just your child.
Right.
And I think
that's where they
a lot of people are really starting to get turned off by that, and they can't, you know, the school is getting thin.
Right. So did you play?
Let's put it this way. If you can guess the president when I played, it was Reagan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And my playing career was so uneventful, because basically back in the day, nobody really cared about women's basketball like that.
Right.
So, you know, if you're familiar with how things were back in the 80s in New York City, there was a club open. And I have another hobby and a passion, which is DJing and dancing.
I know the coaching well.
And I told my players, I said, if you could roll in after being in the club for 4 o'clock in the morning to make the 7 o'clock practice and not throw up.
That's right.
And just kind of look at the coach like, man, I ain't here for this. You know, it was like practice. You talk about practice. And I played softball too, which was my primary sport. So
okay.
But I think learning how to coach, and I was lucky because my grandfather was a director and a professor at NYU. And he had a lot of sports physiology books, sports history books. So when I was a kid, I would go down to his office and hang out with him, and he had all these books. So, you know, he coached the local football team. He had coached the basketball team. So, I mean, we played sports, but I got a chance to read about them and kind of study it like a science.
Okay.
So that was what really piqued my interest in coaching, because I think I coached my first team when I was 16 at a YMCA camp. I had like 9-year-olds. So you know how the bug is when it bites you.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I know. So.
But I had an awful, and I would tell my players all the time. I said, you know what? You can give me as much attitude as you want. Just go ahead and give it to me, because I guarantee you it is nothing close to the attitude that I had when I was 15 years old.
No.
I said I was awful. So.
See, well, so you already know.
You already know.
Oh, okay. So, what made you get into scouting? I know you said you was getting away from
It was
coaching. So.
I mean, it was two things. It was, you know, when ESPN Hoop Girls was coming up back in the day, you know, they approached me, you know, after getting to know me, if I'd be interested in doing it, and I was moving. I moved out from where I lived in Maryland, which was closer in, you know, to the city, and I kind of moved out to the country. So it was kind of difficult for me to get in and out, you know, the practices and stuff like that. And, you know, the kids that I had were pretty much that I, you know, kind of started with in the area. A lot of them were like juniors, you know, sophomores and juniors. So they were kind of, you know, going to be leaving soon anyway.
Right.
And I figured I could help more kids, see more kids, you know, nationally, help more kids and more families, you know, from the scouting side.
Okay. So, go ahead.
I just had, I wanted to ask you, you spoke on, we were saying about the one and dones as far as the males. And as far as females, do you believe that they should also be afforded that one and done status?
Well, the rule is you have to be a graduate, or you have to be at the 20 to 21 WNBA. But you can go play professionally overseas, because Epiphany Prince did that. You know, that's a chance that you take for a woman. Because there are no guarantees. You're going to have to go overseas first. But you're going to leave.
I was going to say, I don't think that's worth it.
Yeah, you're going to have to go overseas. And I mean, if you're going to make a couple of $100,000, you know, and be pretty secure with that, possibly. But the end of the, you know, you're not going to get a $6 million contract. You're not going to get that shoe contract trying to leave early.
Right.
And
exactly.
The biggest thing is you're going to need that piece of paper, you know, when you walk out, because, you know, your ACL, I mean, and if you look at, for instance, I'll give you an example of somebody who I think has done a terrific job of marketing herself beyond Shanae Ogumake, who, you know, I've known since she was in high school, and she's just a terrific young lady. But what she's been able to do with it, you know, she's been out for 2 years, but yet she's still relevant. She's broadcasting. She's doing the ESPN Africa.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, so she's, you know, they just changed over from Nike, her and her sister, to Adidas.
Okay.
So, I mean, yeah, and she went to Stanford, so she's pretty smart.
Yes.
But you gotta line that up quickly, and I would not recommend any young lady leaving early, you know, to go to play professionally.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
Because they're going to have to. I mean, they're going to have to leave the country, you know.
Exactly.
And you know, I always say everybody's one ACL tear away from being irrelevant.
Right.
That's
right.
So true.
Then what you do? I mean, if you just look at the not just in basketball or any sport, just across the line, men still make more money than women. Period.
Well,
across the line. So
that's true. That is true.
And so I think
you know,
sometimes we just need a little bit more. Unfortunately, sometimes we got to do a little bit more than the male.
Yeah, but the opportunities to you know, to do that are out there, and you know,
Definitely.
you know, and if you and I mean, you know, like if girls are going on visits, you know, people are, you know, speaking to coaches, you know, a couple of things that I think I would definitely, and some things that I've seen that people don't. It's hard. Girls are social creatures. They like to be liked. You know, even the tough ones in the balls, they still want to be liked. You know,
Right.
they're a little bit more cliquish.
Right.
When you go on a visit, it's like when somebody comes to your house. You know, somebody's coming to visit. You usually try to clean up a little bit. You know, get rid of the dust bunnies. You know,
Right.
wash the dishes. You know,
Right.
sweep the, you know, dust on top of the doors. But the coach that's recruiting you, they're being your friend. when you get to play, they're not your friend.
Right.
Because you recruit 18-year-old freshmen come in, and you're in there messing up, and say they're in the 4th year of their contract, and they got to win.
Right. That's
senior
their
point guard
job.
goes
That's
down.
their livelihood and their family.
Their senior point guard goes down, and you have to step in, as a freshman. They don't care what they told you on the recruiting visit.
Right.
They don't care about all the smiles and the balloons and the pictures, all the
Yeah.
This coach is making a pretty good sum of money.
Right.
They got a Nike contract. They're doing camps. They can probably have a car paid for by the university. They've got, some kind of stipend. So if you think about it, how many people would want to base their income on some 18-year-old?
Right.
And this is the reality that
all this stuff.
There's another thing that I think parents, especially the parents, when you're going into a situation and you're talking to schools, obviously academics comes first. What kind of academic support is there?
Right.
What kind of major does your daughter want to take? Is there anybody else in that major? Because there's certain majors that have a lot of labs. How do they deal with that? Do they pay for summer school? Because if you're a biology major, if you're a science major, you got to do labs. You're going to do that in the summertime.
Exactly.
You're not going to do that during the season.
Right.
Another crucial thing to look at is the training staff. How many injuries does that team produce? And I started paying attention to this a couple of years ago because I'm a numbers junkie. And I looked at certain schools, and certain schools, everybody gets hurt.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Everybody gets hurt. If you look through it, and if it's the same type of injury, year after year,
right.
We got hamstrings. Then you have to look at what kind of conditioning. What are they doing in their weight training program?
Your nutrition.
What kind of trainers do they have?
Right. Everything.
And you want, as a parent, you want to go talk to the athletic training staff, and you also want to find out, because they have to put in injury. They have to put in injury reports. Other sports, soccer. Look at the female soccer team, because they get injured a lot. Concussions.
Right.
A lot of people don't know this, and this was on Real Sports on HBO. Women's concussion studies, they don't do them separately, but women react differently to concussions based on hormonal and the shape, size of the head, size of the the cranium, the amount of space between the brain and the skull is different. So all the studies they do are on most male athletes, not on women. But if you ever know, women stay out longer with concussions and they have worse symptoms.
Wow.
Oh.
Okay.
And it also has to do with the cycle, where you are in your menstrual cycle. That has a lot. That also has a lot to do with ACL tears. So if you go as a parent and you go and speak to the head trainer, and if they are not versed in understanding the correlation between the female, reproductive system and hormonal changes and injuries, that's a red flag.
Wow, that's something new. That was some good information. Yes. That's really some good information right there.
I never even thought about that.
I mean, because I know almost all the girls play a little different when they're on their cycle. So, but I didn't realize that the injury affected us. That's crazy.
Yeah, because the hormones are being produced, and I've actually read the study, the medical study.
Wow.
I had the translations for some of the terms, but it's fascinating, and they pretty much have kind of nailed it down. Now, whether things can be regulated with birth control or things like that, or they're actually monitoring, but there are some schools that I do know that actually do keep a calendar. And then when women are together, everybody gets on the same cycle.
Yeah, everybody goes at the same time. Yeah, sorry, we go right.
That's why they all get hurt the same time.
You see me, I'm over here quiet.
He's like, I ain't saying nothing.
I don't know nothing about that. Exactly.
But that makes sense. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, those are questions that put on a list to ask.
Yeah, definitely. When
you're on visits and things,
something that I hadn't seen on the list of questions to be asked.
Exactly.
So, That's good
Yes, definitely
information.
talk after speak to the training staff. And then the other thing is, if you live near campus, maybe an hour, like within driving distance, reasonable driving distance to parents, and they even usually they'll say, yeah, hey, you can come to practice anytime you want or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Show up on campus after a loss. Go to a practice after a loss.
Yeah.
You may hear words that you never even knew.
Well, I think I've heard it all because
Yeah. But from a recruit standpoint, and from a parent of a recruit standpoint,
right?
You want to see the good, you want to see the bad, and you want to see the ugly.
Yeah, I think that
That's interesting.
You've really given us some information though, some
Right.
good information though, right there that I definitely didn't think about myself. That was really informative. Thank you.
That's going to help a lot of people with that.
Yes.
Try to keep. I mean, it's in terms of I guess being a student of the game, and really having kind of no agenda in this whatsoever. I mean, honestly, I don't have a kid that plays basketball. I may have a granddaughter in 6 months. I don't know what it's going to be yet.
Okay.
Congratulations. I've already decided that I guess with the class of 36 would be.
Yes.
She's already.
Wow.
If it's a girl, she's already number one.
Right.
So she already ranked.
She's already ranked.
I'm putting it out there right now.
Right.
Speak it. Speak it.
At me on Twitter.
Right.
Don't even go there.
I'm about to put that out there for you. I'm gonna tell him the godmother has already ranked the kid in 2030.
Right. The baby
No, 2036.
2036.
Because my daughter's 2030, so my daughter's 36.
Two of them. We got another one you can rank. Class rank.
Well, thank you.
And that's another thing with rankings. Just wrap. It's people get rankings are for entertainment purposes. And when I was with ESPN Hoop World, we did a lot of rankings, and it was a lot of people involved in the process, and the way it went down. I mean, we tried to be as fair as possible, but sometimes people don't perceive it that way or whatever. Now with Blue Star, I just submit my scouting, my notes, information, and how they end up getting ranked, or how I have nothing to do with that. So please don't blow my phone up, people. My daughter, ESPN or whatever. What is this person thinking or whatever? I mean, a lot of times you have guys that work by themselves. Dan Olsen, Brett McCormick, they're great guys. They know what they're looking at, but they're one person.
Right.
So maybe they saw you and you had a great game. Maybe they saw somebody else and she had a bad game.
Right.
But the difference between
day to day, right?
Exactly. The difference, and the boys rankings change a lot because they're out a little bit more, and their cycles, and they have more scouting services, and it's more competitive for money.
Right.
So they update them a lot, monthly, every couple of weeks.
Oh,
girls not so much.
Right.
And people get twisted by the number next to the name, and honestly, if anybody is recruiting you based on the number. And I know that, the schools put out, hey, we got the number 1, number 2 ranked recruiting class. It's for prep. It's for entertainment purposes, because I can go through a list of girls who are All-Americans who are complete busts in college.
Oh, wow.
I mean, bust.
Yeah.
Like, whatever happened. It's like, whatever happened to so-and-so,
Right. And you do be wondering, like, did they make it? Did they go somewhere? Did they...
What happened?
Did they play in school? Or
what's the one lady we just was talking about that had the mental health issue? They did 30 for 30 on ESPN?
Oh, forget her name. They did a story on her. She was diagnosed with schizophrenia. I can't think of her. Lachey? Her last name is Lachey. She went in her freshman and sophomore year. No, it wasn't Maryland.
Mm-hmm. Did she go to Maryland?
It was in Virginia, though. She was in Virginia.
It was in Virginia.
And what did she do?
She was real good in basketball. And I mean, she came in like she was from the hood, I guess, for the most part, and they recruited her. She can do everything. She was just real good. And then her sophomore year, she was just like, I ain't playing no more. Then she went overseas and she came back and she's homeless now. I can't think of her name. Skylar Rue. That's her name. Skylar Rue.
I mean, let me tell you, when I moved to this area, she was in high school. When I first moved to the area, I remember my mentor, Jerry Kelly, she was at Archbishop Carroll, and he said, you got to come see this kid.
Yes.
And I was like, and I just left a bunch of, like I had some players in New York, and I was like, ooh, she was Candace Parker before Candace Parker was Candace.
Yeah, that's what they were saying.
And she's a legend. I mean, one of the best ball players high school to come out of DC, period. But I mean, I don't know if you saw the story. I mean, it's really bad. She's got mental, she's got schizophrenia.
Yes.
And, that was just beyond not wanting to play basketball. I mean,
right.
It's really sad,
Yeah.
But that's a whole other topic for, how we do mental health in this country.
Definitely bring you back for that one again.
It wasn't because she didn't want to play. She just mentally couldn't get it together. So
yeah, and that's another. I mean, and that brings up a huge point. Another thing is we've had a rash of suicide.
Yes,
we have.
We've been talking about
that. It has been.
And it's again social media.
That's what I was going to say.
That's what I really believe in social media. The
think
pressure.
That if it was I think since social media is so wide now, unlike it used to be, the expectation on the kid and everybody is different. And so if they, like on Twitter or whatever somebody says is that word is bond to people. And I just think that they take it to heart, and then
we've created this alternate universe. And if people are not versed in just, interpersonal skills and communication.
Right.
And this is just, kids getting bullied or feeling pressured.
Yes.
I mean, back in the day, if somebody was bullying you, they had to get to you.
Exactly.
They physically had to get their hands on you.
Right.
Or get in your face. But now you can sit behind a phone and, and they really get bold and say anything. Yeah.
So.
See, and back in the day, I mean, not that I'm advocating violence, but the hand, if you was going to step to somebody, your hands better be ready.
Right.
Now it's just, people just say, do whatever.
Exactly.
I mean, that's
Twitter fingers.
part of the climate of the country. And I think that people are getting lost. Young people are getting lost because there's pressures. They're exposed to so much. There's no time to chill. Like, put your phone down, put your video game down.
Right.
Go take a walk. Go get ice cream or something like that, or just go hang out.
And be kids like they used to be.
Yeah, exactly. Let them be kids.
And that's why I think they don't know how to communicate. They don't learn how to talk to people. They don't know how to look people in their face and have a discussion because those phones and that social media and everything. It's like they rather text you and instead of talk to you, pick up the phone. So
when I walk through tournaments, I have a thing now. The girls see me coming, I'll snatch their phone out of their hands. Like, but you're looking at each other. I was like, that's all right, but I can talk and look at you at the same time.
Right.
Like, get off your phone.
Right.
What gets me is when they lose a game and they're on their phone. I was like, if I lost a game,
I've said that too. I said that too.
Like,
kids
you just
laughing,
lost. You need to talk about what happened and get your mind right.
Okay.
I'm like, no phones, man. You gotta sometimes you just gotta put it down.
All right.
All right. So
we really enjoyed you.
Yep.
And
I enjoyed her.
You gave us a ton of information.
It out with you guys.
We got a ton of information.
And as new stuff.
And as the season starts for the girls, we're definitely gonna need you back on the show to give us some more information and to discuss what's happening at that time.
Oh yeah, I covered. There's some big tournaments out. I know some Ohio schools come out this way, but there's big tournaments in the DMV, and I always get to see. I do as much scouting as I can early on in December.
Okay.
because there's, you know, all the tournaments I can see, you know, tons of games and tons of kids.
Okay. Well, yes, all of the information, and I've read some of your articles, and you know, we just appreciate all that you do by getting, you know, out there to see the girls and saying what their strengths are. That's been helpful for them, because definitely the goal is for them to get their education paid for. At least that's our goals.
Yeah. Right.
It is, and to become, you know, successful, you know, relevant,
yes,
caring human beings.
Yeah,
exactly. Yes.
So again, though, thank you, and we're gonna definitely hook back up with you to get you back on the show again.
All right, folks, have a good one. Peace.
You do the same. Thank you.
Bye.
All right, 94 feet and beyond. We're gonna take a 5-minute break, and we'll be back with you. We have Coach in the building, Coach Angel.
Holmesburger.
She'll be back with us at 5.
All I see is fraudulence. 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 Fraudulence money don't make you real. I'm scared, man. I'm kidding. Let's be real now. All I see is fraudulence. All I see is saying I'm the realest. I'm just saying I'm a realist. And all I see is fraudulence. Fraudulence money don't make you real. I'm scared, man. I'm kidding. Let's be real now. All I see is fraudulence. They saying I'm the realest. I'm just saying I'm a realist. And all I see you might be fly, but I be float. You can't stay high, cause I'm just that dope. And tryna be fake, so let's be real. Okay, just to see me though. Most of these boys just see me folk. I'm out daily like CP3. You can never see me like a UFO. It's in my jeans, or you ain't know. Listen, money don't make you real if you want real when you a broke. Boy, that money gon' get you killed if you a clown, and that's no joke. I don't gang bang, but I bang bang when it comes to me and my folks. And the same thing for my dough. Yeah, I'm riding around with my toast. On the break bread with who I know. Say amen for that BDA. Gotta say grace before I use my vote. So leapfrog in your coat. No new friends, no fake friends, no nonsense is my quote. No children, no playpen, no fraudulence, and that's dope. All I see is fraudulence. All I see is money don't make you real. I'm scared, man. I'm kidding. Let's be real now. All I see is fraudulence. All I see is saying I'm the realest. I'm just saying I'm a realist. And all I see is fraudulence. All I see is money don't make you real. I'm scared, man. I'm kidding. Let's be real now. All I see is fraudulence. All I see is saying I'm the realest. I'm just saying I'm a realist. Baby, y'all in my What's the flavor? What's the flavor? What's the flavor? What's the flavor? Cup watching you a peeping time. Nosy neighbor, nosy neighbor. What's the flavor? What's the flavor? What's the flavor? What's the flavor? Cup watching you a peeping time. Nosy neighbor, nosy neighbor. Baby, y'all in my Kool-Aid, in my Kool-Aid, and they help me stir it. Baby, y'all in my Kool-Aid, in my Kool-Aid, and they help me stir it. Baby, y'all in my Kool-Aid, in my Kool-Aid, and they help me stir it. Baby, y'all in my Kool-Aid, in my Kool-Aid, yeah, they be all in my soul. Why you always in the mix with it? And you ain't help me mix, did you? My table is full, can't eat with you fools. Now you can't even sit with us, let alone have a sit with us. Now you can't even hit this one. Simple and plain, can tell by your frame that you don't get the big picture. That boy that he a soft drink. That mean they got some with them. Listen, this a A and B conversation. See they all on my D in my conversation. Pockets on E, F that. Me against you, that's a mismatch. Get that disrespect, I'm a lit match. Game is just so I treat it like it's pit pack. Baby, y'all in my Kool-Aid, in my Kool-Aid, and they help me stir it. Baby, y'all in my Kool-Aid, in my Kool-Aid, and they help me stir it. Baby, y'all in my Kool-Aid, in my Kool-Aid, and they help me stir it. Baby, y'all in my Kool-Aid, in my Kool-Aid, yeah, they be all in my soul.
You must got me mixed up. You must got me mixed. Wait, it must be a mix up. It must be a mix up. She said I'm a stiff drink. She said I'm stiff. And well, you a mix one. Boy, I'm the type to mix business with pleasure. I love getting money. We just go together. My homeboy, he got a dope wrist. Your girlfriend, we call her Blowfish. Since you all in my fridge, I ain't lost the intro. All at your crib and I do it again. Boy, I don't play. Let's I play to win. I hit your girl once and I'm gone in the wind. You thirsty, boy, pull up. Want everybody why you show up? Boy, why you show up? Oh, you want a taste of the good life? Somebody tell that boy to grow up, grow up. They be y'all in my Kool-Aid, in my Kool-Aid, and then help me stir it. They be y'all in my Kool-Aid, in my Kool-Aid, and then help me stir it. They be y'all in my Kool-Aid, in my Kool-Aid, and then help me stir it. They be y'all in my Kool-Aid, in my Kool-Aid, yeah, they be all in my syrup. They be all in my mix, all in my mix, all in my mix. They be all in my mix, all in my mix, all in my mix. They be all in my kitchen, I mean in my business. They say that they hungry, but won't do the dishes. Don't pay them no mind, don't pay them no dishes. Good, pay me to pay them on business. They be all in my mix, all in my kitchen. They be y'all in my mix. They be y'all in my mix. Run, run, run. Run, run, run. Run, run, run. Run, run, run. And you don't run nothing. You just bumping guns. Yeah, I run it like I'm in a race. You ain't nothing, you ain't fresh at last. Whoever dreamed to be in second place, they don't run it, nah, nah. And they ain't running, nah, 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 nah. And you don't run nothing. You just bumping guns. Yeah, I run it like I'm in a race. You ain't nothing, you ain't fresh at last. Whoever dreamed to be in second place, they don't run it, nah, nah. And they ain't running, nah, 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 nah. Shawty just won't leave my crib, so I call her a runaway. Plug, give me a pack. Tell me why would I run away? Quarterback sneak, get it on in the blink, and I call for another play. He called me the running back, hand it off, and it's on the lay. Run it like Tummy, I give them a run for their money. I run it like Usain Bolt, yeah baby that running. Run it like I'm the CEO. Wait, I am the CEO. I call it a hit and run, cause I hit it and baby I got to go. I might run away with it if you take it there like away we go. Head first I'm running through it. Head first and I'm running through it. Since the Santa knows I've been running, you just run the track, you ain't running nothing. My young boys like to run and gun, my whole team ballin', ain't no one-on-one. You just bumping guns, yeah I run it like I'm in a race. You ain't nothing, you ain't fresh at last. Whoever dreamed to be in second place, they don't run it, nah, nah. And they ain't running, nah, 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 nah. And you don't run nothing, you just bumping guns. Yeah, I run it like I'm in a race. You ain't nothing, you ain't fresh at last. Whoever dreamed to be in second place, they don't run it, nah, nah. And they ain't running, nah, nah, nah. Shot it mad like I gave her the run around, but really, I had to run around. Can't be no runner up. So I get it in and I run it up. Yo, sorry I'm late. I was running behind all this cake. Can't take a breath, some feet on my face. Don't tell me in circles, you wizard, you ain't. What can I say? I gotta be frank, cause that's all I want in the bank. And to get it, I only see one way. Run it like I'm in a foot race. Run it like police done gave chase. The airplane ain't gon' tell them runway. I step out the house and treat the tractor like my runway. Like I gave it away. Run through a chick, I get paid every day. Run through a cookie, she running away. He running in circles, that's running in place. Tell him you don't run that. You just bumping guns. Yeah, I run it like I'm in a race.
All right, 94 feet. We back. We thank the godmother for calling in and sharing some information. We always learning something new. So we take everything.
She gave us some really good items to learn about, especially when it comes to girls basketball, because it's really, or I should say, girls athlete. It's a whole different ball game.
A whole different makeup.
Just how their bodies work.
Not just the game itself, but the person as a whole. So
yes.
So we have our guest, our second guest in the studio. We appreciate her coming out and joining. And
why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to our listeners?
All right. My name is Angel Hornsberger, who coach Angel. I coach at West High School varsity. Last year was my first year there. So
okay.
Congratulations.
Yes. And I'll tell you, I've seen your girls play, no matter how many you have or who else playing, you coach them to the very end of the game.
You did. I watched the game.
And that's impressive.
I wasn't even gonna come to the game, to be honest, but I came to the game.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, when I came to the game though, I was
right.
I came to the game because my daughter wasn't playing. I thought I'm not about to drive out there, but I drove out there. But I was impressed. Well, how the girls, you could tell you were teaching them, and some of them you could tell probably have not played basketball. Maybe yesterday they started, but you can see that you worked with them. So I mean, and
that you're passionate, and that's what girls basketball needs. That's what those girls need. Somebody to take the time to invest in fundamentals.
Exactly.
In teaching.
Yeah, that's exactly what they need. Like fundamentals. Like I think like one, maybe two of them played like organized basketball before the other. It was like, okay.
They ready to go.
It was hard with 5, trying to practice with 5.
Yes, Lord.
I got nobody to scrimmage against.
Right.
It's like, okay, now I got somebody on me. Now what do I do? Like,
right.
Yeah, it's not the same. So, I mean, sometimes the boys will help out and scrimmage against us, but if I had 10, it would have been a lot better.
Right.
Exactly. It's good to see because a lot of times like, when people get jobs and the programs aren't already set up and developed, they just come and get the check. So it's good to see you go on there, and I can really honestly see that you were working with the girls. They were running little plays, like there was something. You could see that there was something happening out there. Yeah. So
we got. I think we took like some major leaps from when I first had the very first game to the last game.
Yes, and that's what it's about.
I seen the little baby steps that they were taking, and I mean, granted, we had our falling outs during practice, but
of course,
we're used to it. I'm like, the one's only us 5. We gotta figure it out, like at least
right.
The
fact that they stayed,
that's good.
Because before you came, my cousin actually was coached them.
Okay.
My cousin Shannon. Yes.
Shannon's like my younger sister.
Yeah. She came from Eastmore, so yeah.
What made you get the job? Did somebody ask you for it, or did you go out for a job?
Sutton called me, but I think like she was looking for a coach, and she had ended up talking to JB, and JB referred me to her because I've been trying to get my foot in the door. So she called me. I interviewed. I think she had somebody else she interviewed, and she called me back and told me she was gonna give it to me. So because she wanted a woman coach in there, so that's how that went.
Yeah, and
shout out to JB.
I also remember when you coached. They were then, I guess, 10th grade team for Ohio.
Yes.
And I mean, just the whole system when he was coaching them, they played very well. She coached in Miami.
Okay.
Yeah. And I had a few All Ohio AAU teams. I had 8th grade last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So
most of them were going after century.
So did you play basketball or?
Yeah, I played basketball. I played my 9th grade year at Bishop Hartley. We won the Division II state championship. Then I transferred and went to Independence for my last 3 years. I played with like Jessica Davenport starting.
Okay, yeah.
And then I got a full ride to OU, and I played there for 2 years. I got injured, took a little break, about 5 years. Then I went back, and I got a full ride to Lane College in Jackson, Tennessee, and I finished up.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, the fact that you went back and you finished.
So you got your degree too.
Yeah.
You hear
I went back and I did want to go
Right.
overseas. That was my thing, and I was playing like in the little women's Wednesday, and with Luke, and he was like, I mean, I just need game film, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go back. So he kind of hooked me up with the Lane College coach, and then I went out there. I was like, ooh, I'm kind of old now. I don't know if I just go overseas, but I'm gonna go ahead and finish. So
cool,
you heard that lady, so she went back, finished, and got the degree. That's the important part in there. That was the important part I want them to hear. That was a little bit nugget.
Exactly. Yeah. That sometimes it's about playing ball. If that's what you want to take it to the next level, or if it's to get that degree, whichever comes first.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So, take a break, still go back and get the degree.
Yes. And when you today I also learned because I was talking to them earlier about graduation rates. We had asked. That's one of the questions that my daughter always asks the college coaches, what's their graduation rate, so that she wants to see what kind of academic schedule that they have that's going to help these girls stay focused while they're on the road playing. And what I found out, some of the girls that it may have been in their senior year and they leave and or they get drafted or they go overseas or they do what have you, that they still have their scholarships there and they can go back and later on and play. Even some of the people that go play professionally, like the men, I was like, so they can come back and still get their degree. Y'all want to pay for it? And they say yes. I didn't realize that. I don't know if that's every school, but I didn't know that they did. I thought once you left, that was it. You lose your scholarship or what have you. But yeah, so that's something to remember.
Yeah, that works.
But it's good that you still, are involved and you're able to give like some real life basketball.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, it's a struggle. It's it's days I'm like, oh man, ooh.
Yeah.
Jesus, help me do
right.
I mean, it's cool though. I mean, they get it. We might fight and fuss while we're doing it, but they understand it, and they'll text me every now and again, or like, Coach, I've been working on my game. Coach, I've been doing this. Coach, I've been doing that. So I mean, they kind of like my homies for real. Like,
right.
We kind of got that relationship where
and that makes
I can go out and have fun with them, but then we can go on the court and I can
take care of business. Yeah. Right.
That was my next question. Did you keep up with the girls over the summer this year?
Yeah, I did. They actually came to my dad's funeral. Like, my dad just passed.
Yeah, I wanted to give my condolences.
Yeah,
I'm sorry to hear that.
All of them came and supported.
That's nice.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
That's
they're
like,
we're going to do it this year for your dad.
Oh,
my dad came to a few of the games
before,
the ones he could make it to. So,
right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
That means you really impacted them.
It's
because playing with 5 girls and them saying, I'm done with this. Them not saying I'm done with this and staying.
Not even having one person say that.
No matter how hard the games, they came out and still played to the end.
Yeah.
That says a lot.
That says
I
a lot
think that
about,
comes from you as a coach because it makes them feel like you believe in them, so they gonna try their best.
Yeah, I'm telling you, we're gonna see these teams twice. So even if they lose that first game, the next game
just
make it a little bit closer.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's a little bit closer.
Right. So how many?
10 girls, I was going down.
That's how I said.
Right.
So have you tried to do some recruitment or bring some extra ones in?
I tried, but people look at me like, West, and I can understand because I always think of the West Side like, that's foreign country over there. Nobody goes to the West Side. Now I'm stuck over there, and I'm like,
bring somebody else over
come
there.
with me.
Like, how is she gonna get there every day? I'm like, look, we can figure it out. Okay, we'll figure it out. So, I mean, I'm trying. Hopefully, I know some of the girls that played volleyball last year said after watching it, they're like, Coach, I'm gonna come out next season.
Oh, that's good. Then.
Hopefully, we find something in this.
At least
I might have to go
bench.
Inside out.
Let's just get 7. Come
Yeah,
on now, Wes.
that's all you
Give
need.
her 7 at least.
Everybody listen.
Give her 8.
Send me your daughter.
Right.
They
Yeah,
play varsity
together.
automatically.
Right. There you go. She get a letter.
You want to get your letter? Right.
You want to say your daughter's on the varsity?
Right.
And she gonna definitely get some playing time.
Right. She gonna play every game. Every game she playing. So
Right.
come on,
4
get in the
minutes. I'm
game.
not gonna waste your gas. I promise.
Exactly.
You ain't got to worry about minutes.
Right.
And a coach that know what she doing. So I've watched her. So
Someone that played, got her education, did it all. I mean that's the playbook right there.
That's a resume. You can sell that. If they don't believe that, they don't really want their kid to play.
Right. So I said, like, come on.
So there's certain topics that we've been kind of we kind of talk about with everyone that comes on. Usually when we talk about the transfers, that was our very first show. We talked about how many transfers as far as right now. Well, last week when we was looking at it, there was like a list and the transfers was like 807.
Wow.
807 transfers this year. So, you know, I just wanted to ask, what did you think about, like, when you were going to school and you were getting ready? Did you see a lot of transfers, and what is your thoughts on why you think it's so high now?
You know, honestly, I didn't see too many transfers. I know, like, sometimes some of the girls that did transfer were trying to go to Brookhaven.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's when they had, you know, Brittany Hunter and Kristen Peoples and stuff like that. So, you know, some did transfer into there. Well, I mean, of course, those two were two that transferred into Brookhaven.
Right.
So, I mean, we didn't get too many at Independence, though, but, like, most of the people, I mean, we had a pretty good, decent team. So,
yeah.
I mean,
even on the college level, that's where most of the that's where the transfers is, you know, and these is players that come in and get playing time and, you know, start and just bench
players.
Yeah, I think maybe sometimes because, like, some of these college coaches, I mean, they don't have that relationship with their players. It's strictly basketball.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's all. They don't care about your home life or, you know, anything of that nature. So it's kind of like you're not connecting with that person. So yeah, you playing me, but I want maybe more than that. You know, somebody I can come and talk to, like, Coach, listen, you know, this is going on with my family. I might need to leave for a couple of days, or I might, you know, this, that, and the other. And some of the coaches they don't have that with their players.
It's a job.
Or
it's a business.
They show favoritism, or, you know, it could be a number of things. People just sometimes just miss their family, or they're looking for something different from their coach. So
okay,
better relationship.
That makes sense. Yeah, because I know, you know, sometimes you'll read about some of the transfers and like one of the girls was just like, I was miserable every day.
Yeah.
She played, but she just wasn't happy.
Yeah, if he's not making friends on the campus, or, you know, some players may resent you because you started and they thought that they were supposed to start. So, I mean, you have that too. You have your little groups here, groups there. You may not be in none of those groups yet. So it does make it lonely, especially if you're far away from home and you know, you can't really just chill with nobody. You still calling your mom 1,000 miles away because you don't really have
nobody to talk to. Yeah. That makes sense. And that's something for the coaches to hear. Like, when they're trying to build these relationships, you need to really, like, you know, if you're really in it for real and you're really trying to bring these girls and you want to keep them, you definitely got to learn what it is that you have to do to build a relationship.
You got to be able to connect with them. And I think with girls, it's probably different, like you said, because girls are more, like Godmother was saying, they're more social. And then I think they do form cliques quicker than guys. It's guys just be like, hey, we all about to go hang out.
Right. You eating tonight?
Right.
We eat.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, did you see her? She got in front of me over on the court and she beat my time. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Daddy.
Yeah.
Right. That
definitely part of it.
I think that brings us toward the mental health aspect too, because I think the social, because the way girls are socially too. When you got hurt, how did that affect you too mentally? Because, you know, we've seen a lot of the suicides and a lot of things going on.
We've been talking about that.
I mean, I was mad because I don't know if I can say this, but
you too. You can say anything.
So we was like in practice. It was like spring workouts or whatever. So I don't know. My coach was a little crazy. I don't know. So they had, like, you know, the little football pads, and we was like running out. And they just started like beating us with them, basically. Like the whole 45 minutes that we had our little spring workout, and I'm dribbling and I'm just telling them, like, I'm getting beat while I'm dribbling. I'm just like, my back hurts, and then they not listening. Like, oh, suck it up. So I'm like, I'm gonna suck it up, because I mean that's just how it was. But my back was still hurting. So I got done. I went to the trainer. I'm like, my back really hurts. Whatever, she put some ice on it. I left. I was walking. I'm like, I really can't breathe. I don't know. Like, so I called my mom, like, something's not right. She like, okay, we'll go to the hospital or whatever, get checked out or whatever. So I go to the hospital. They do x-rays. They do a EKG, all that stuff. So then they're like, okay, well, we don't see nothing. We got a little bit bruising in your back. I'm like, okay. So I go back to my dorm. I'm just like, I really can't breathe. Like, something's not right. I know I don't have asthma, so something's not right. So I'm calling my mom, I'm crying. My mom and dad, because I was at OU, so I'm only like an hour away. They like, we on our way. So So I called my coach like, I'm leaving. She like, no, we got workouts. I said, no, you got workouts tomorrow. I'm going to Columbus to my doctor's to figure out what's going
wrong
on.
with you.
So as we were driving back, the doctor called back and was like, oh, well, somebody took a closer look at the x-ray. Like, oh, you got a collapsed lung and air in your chest.
Oh, my
wow.
God.
I just had the phone to my dad, like, I think this is for you. I don't know. So he took me to, I think I went to Mount Carmel or something. So I was in there for like 3 or 4 days.
Wow.
Like my coach only called me like once, like when you coming back. Like I was there. Like,
wow.
So I'm just like,
probably from them meeting you too.
Yeah, that's it. It was trauma. So
wow.
So I'm just like, I'm just gonna go back and finish my exams. I ain't talked to her after that. Like we were in the process of doing like a lawsuit and all that or whatever, but my dad didn't really have the money, so we didn't go through with it or whatever.
Wow.
But, yeah, so then I didn't come back after that. Then she tried to say like, oh, well, we're not renewing your scholarship because you had a C average or something like that. And I'm just like,
just came up with a reason.
Like I'm gonna come back anyway. So I mean that was that, and I couldn't go back to playing sports because I had to be clear from the doctor.
Yeah.
I ended up with like asthma and everything. You know what I'm saying? So it was a long
that's
thing.
Just crazy.
So,
that's crazy.
But like you said, for you to go through that, and as far as the mental part of it, that's
and then you got up.
Yeah, that's
it got back up and got another
school.
You went to another school, you played, and you graduated.
Right.
Yeah,
that's an amazing. That's a story. Wow.
I was
mad. 94 feet, but y'all, we be having some stories on here. These girls.
Right.
I'm glad your mom didn't go kill the coach.
That's what I was about to say.
My mom is a true Christian lady.
Right.
Jesus.
I don't know. I love Jesus. However.
You had to be like, sit down and don't move.
Wow. And he didn't even check on you though. That's like.
It was a lady coach, but yeah, no, she called like once while I was down in Columbus. Like
that's crazy.
But the good thing is that you didn't just take everybody for their word. You knew your body.
You knew something was wrong.
I'm like, I'm sitting like,
because you could really, with a collapsed lung, anything could have happened over days.
So, I don't know, and then it comes like it has to heal on its own. So I had to just wait. And then after that time, I started working. I'm making money. So I'm like, I'm about going back to school right now. Like, I'm gonna make my money.
Especially with that type of stress that's
so
it wasn't a good environment.
Okay, I'm just gonna work. And I got caught up working. And then finally, I'm like, you know what? I didn't really have like no bills, so I'm like, it's time to go back.
Yeah. And just a disclaimer, we're not trying to put down any school. This is just a situation that happened.
Yeah, she's no longer there.
Yeah, she's no longer there. She's gone. Yeah,
somewhere. I don't know where.
She's gone, but I just want to put that out there that before somebody say, right, so we can make sure our kids don't come.
We're going to bring her on.
Okay, so a good question about that. Was she part of your recruiting process?
Yes.
And how was
she
when you first met her?
She was cool. Oh, she loved me. I was her favorite. Like, it was cool. She sent her assistant coaches too. Like, I mean, that part was cool. But then when I got down there,
that's what I'm saying. Courting, that's what I'm saying.
The courting was great, but then the marriage was bad.
Right. Definitely.
And those are things that you need to know. Yeah, like they love
butter you up. You get down there and you the worst person they ever seen play basketball in life. Like,
that's so crazy though. I'm over here like I never knew. That's crazy. Yeah. The story behind people, like in this basketball world, we've learned.
This was 94 feet / 30 for 30.
Everybody got
30 stories.
We got those stories. Like
99 problems.
Well, I'm even more proud of you for going back to school and getting that degree because that could have really damaged somebody's spirit, somebody's heart. Like I mean, just to think about that for one. That they almost didn't seem like they didn't even care though, like if we to get back up, it's just crazy.
Like I'm just like I'm speechless about that whole situation.
Yeah, that was we didn't see that coming.
Well, I didn't see that part. I didn't see that at all. When I just asked that question,
injury, I'm thinking, okay, well maybe
she hurt her leg, ACL,
like
normal, right.
The normal things. Never
like
when I heard this.
Look, cause you beating me down while
because you did it though. Like not even something that you did.
Like it just didn't come out of nowhere. Like,
wow. Yeah, I bet they did not renew your scholarship.
Right.
They
don't want you to change this university's name. Orangeburger
University, right? Angels School. Wow. I'm just amazed at that story. I don't know. Wow. Because when I asked that question, that's not what I thought was going to come from that.
Yeah.
94 feet and beyond, we had to, y'all need to listen.
Yes. Hey, tell your friends and parents, and especially your aunties, right, to listen, because
Uncle Luke one there.
That's real stuff, man. And that's what people need to know, though, because I'm sure it's other girls that have injuries and stuff, and probably they don't want to call home because they don't want to seem weak.
Right.
Situations like
and
that.
They'll just go through it. And
right. They'll just take it. And you don't, they don't know. And
that's serious.
That's part
really
of
serious.
The issue we've been talking about how many suicides and stuff like that. If somebody can understand like what you went through and still make that call home, I'm sure that's probably what a lot of people should have done. Because
even when it comes to mental issues, not even just with your physical issue, but sometimes if they would just reach home, when it's a bad situation, how could that simple call could change things? Because you're not making that call could have changed the whole different story. You might not have been here.
And you went back to the practice because
you
wouldn't have been able to make the workout. You would have went to the workout and fell out.
Yeah.
Because your lungs, you can't play with a collapsed lung if you're not getting pumping enough blood through your lungs, and the oxygen is not. You die.
You're not making it.
Wow, that was a story we weren't prepared for. I'm glad you told that story because that's amazing, and the girls need to hear that. Like,
dude, definitely.
And parents need to hear that today.
Please know your
Pay
body.
attention to your body.
Listen to your body. It's gonna tell you when something's wrong, even if you feel like, oh no, I think I can still do it.
Don't push through it. Just check.
Just get checked.
There's so many situations where athletes are playing and they just.
I think from one thing we've learned too from our two guests today is maybe some of the players when you're getting recruited, you need to talk to the players, not with the coaches around, so you can get the real deal with the coaches. Because while they're all we've went on visits, I went on a couple of visits, and everybody's happy. And I'm like, this is a girl. It's a full. I'm like, this is a full team of girls. Y'all all are not
at all.
Y'all all are not happy.
I watched y'all walk
the rest is like,
right.
I
watched y'all walk away, and I saw y'all wasn't together.
Right. When y'all walked in, I seen that look. I remember I went to one school. I wouldn't even say the school, but I walked in. I watched the girls as they walked in. I just seen how they looked at each other. I'm like, they're not friends. I don't care what y'all telling me, but you can see that. But I think that we should pay attention when you're talking to pay attention to everything, because that's great. That just makes me think really hard about the whole.
Right. It's hard to probably diagnose it once you're there because it is such a happy scene. Everybody's and they clean the house up real quick before you came
exactly.
in.
Sure, what they got photo shoot set up for you, so you got a photo shoot.
Now that's what I was telling them.
Now, for a photo shoot
set up. August 1st, they can do the photo shoot with you and give you your pictures.
Right, so you getting the best of the best. So you don't see any of that the bad days, and everybody have a bad day.
The kids, we was in the photo shoot.
Oh yeah.
I show you that picture.
Right.
Go with those girls overnight. Let them stay there overnight. They'll find out the real couple of drinks sit on there.
Exactly.
The ones that can drink, they gonna tell it all.
They tell it.
Yeah, we want you coming, but let me tell you what really goes on.
Like, get yourself prepared, right? Get yourself prepared. So.
Yes.
Man, I learned something with that one.
Yeah,
it's been a real enlightening show.
This show today, we got a lot of information that we weren't expecting. Some good information on what goes on for one thing for recruiting, and just the difference in girls athletes, like the girl athlete recruiting process too. And the what about? Did you have a male coach and a female coach? What was the difference?
I had
because I've asked that before too.
Well, in high school, I had my 9th grade year. I had a girl coach. My other 3 years, I had a guy coach. It was Coach Spencer and my dad, and then
Spencer.
Yep, and then in college it was basically a female coach, but we had like 2 male assistants and then another woman assistant.
What do you think is your biggest difference from having a female head coach and a male head coach?
I think female coaches hold grudges.
Everybody has said the same thing. I just asked that just to see what you said, but every single person has said the same thing.
When you say grudges, what do you mean, like?
Like
they remember.
Like
think about your wife. Which how your wife is at home.
So if you let's say you do something on Monday, they're gonna remember that in Tuesday's game, and you're not gonna play properly.
Right.
Right.
They don't know how to let it go. A male coach gonna be like, I don't care. We on to the next game.
We trying to win.
Yeah, exactly.
I definitely know.
I know that. Kind of like, I remember this from last week. Let me kind of hold off on you for a second and let me go.
They always trying to prove a point. That's sad though. But every single person has said the same thing about a female coach to a male coach.
Yeah. I wonder why. We need to bring a couple more female coaches in. You hold grudges as a female coach?
No, I'll be like, listen, I'm here to win, so y'all need to figure it out.
Right.
Yeah, I cussed you out on Tuesday, but today is Wednesday, so let's try something different.
Right. And that's probably good from you having an experience. Like, everything happens for a reason. So you've been a player in that situation.
Like, I'm worried about the next player. I'm not worried about what you just did the last game. Let me see how you're gonna fix it.
Exactly.
That's what I'm worried about. So,
and that's what I hope that is it.
I'm worried about that.
Well, after the season gets started a little bit, we want you to come back with a few of your players. Well, you only got 5 in the ball,
right?
We're gonna have 10 this year. We're gonna have 10. I feel you gonna have a full bench. We're gonna have some good games. Eastward, gonna be happy to see you.
We are.
We ready. We ready to see you.
Coming for it tonight.
Yeah, and I hope you do. I'm ready for some competitive games. I'm ready for it.
We got our 2 wins last year. We're going for 5 this.
Okay.
Set and go.
That's what it is. But as the season gets closer, we definitely want the girls to come in so we can talk to them.
They might be a little ratchet, so I don't know.
That's okay.
That's okay. Keep it real. We want it real. That's how we do it. And also, make sure, are you on Twitter?
I have a Twitter. So
or you can DM or send
I can make a new Twitter.
Send this message when your girls are doing something good. Let us know because we're trying to bring everybody in so we can. If somebody has a good practice, somebody has a good game, somebody does well in tryouts, somebody to show you some extra honor roll.
Oh yeah,
showing you some showing you some extra
That's
work before
good.
in September where they just got open gyms and stuff. If there's somebody you see working hard extra now, let us know so we can shout them out on what you got next.
I got you. You got the grades.
Yeah.
I don't care what they say. The GPA is supposed to be no.
Man, did you see that Dayton stuff? Did you see the Dayton? I'm like appalled. Yes, and people were trying to justify it. It's like, no, you can work out. There's no way 1.0 should be anybody's
but writing your name on the paper.
Exactly. And that program that they have requires your full attention, not no basketball.
Yeah, if you had a 1.0, there's nothing else. And they were saying, well, it's just to help you get better. No, that's just nothing about that makes sense. Somebody else put on there too recently, like with the NCAA clearinghouse, there's no way they're gonna be even eligible to do anything with it. So you allow them to play for the 1.0, but they can't go to college with it. Yeah,
they'll be playing for fun.
That's like the
trophies.
kids in school.
That's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
Oh no.
That's what I was going to ask you. You teach it as well, or do you work in the school?
I'm the peak teacher at elementary school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. That's another story.
My mom used to be a peak teacher, so I know. My mom used to be a peak teacher at Fairmore. So
my mom works at Fairmore.
Okay, how long she been here?
Like, not a long time.
You said not a long time?
A long time.
She might know my mom. My mom was there for years.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, she's the kindergarten assistant.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, these kids these days.
Man.
That's what he is talking about.
It is
all the social media
stuff.
How it's different. How it's a lot.
It's changing. It is. I think it is too. It's
it is. Like technology is good, but then at the same time, kids don't want to go outside. Kids don't want to work. I'll be like,
and they don't know how to talk.
They don't know how to communicate. They know how to communicate.
Like you can't have a conversation and look somebody in their face because you just rather do it here.
So do you get this? Your whole team is together, but everybody's
on their phone the whole time.
Oh yeah, definitely. Or they try to be on Snapchat.
Or they taking pictures of each other. If they're not on their phone, they take pictures.
Everything got to go on Snapchat. I don't care if I'm chewing gum. I'll get my nails done.
I have my AU team. I had to take all their phones. Like, y'all not coming to play. Y'all not about to waste my time.
Right, evidently you need your phone.
And maybe you can concentrate.
Right.
Think about that.
Yeah.
It's just amazing that they want everything to be seen. Like, why don't you have
everything?
I think that's the problem. I think that's part of their mental issues right now because they're so busy keeping up with what everybody else is doing. Yeah, so you start comparing their game, and you start comparing it. You start comparing your life instead of just working.
Are they doing that?
Yeah.
Then I must not be.
Look and see. Like, okay, well, if she on Snapchat all day, she can't be in the gym.
Right.
That's the thing. I'm like, it's not how it used to be back in the day. We had, I don't know. This day and era is like, you're here,
It is.
You there, but that's because
even
I want to go outside and work. I mean, that's all you
It's too hot to play outside.
Tournaments in my backyard.
Yeah, or I hear there's no gym open, like there's the park. You know what I'm saying? Like,
And then they say, I don't have an outdoor ball.
Yeah.
They don't have an outdoor ball.
Or outdoor shoes.
Right.
They don't wear their shoes outside.
Right.
They need to bring back the hoop at 24 hours.
Oh my gosh, I wish they would. I wish they would. If
I lived in there.
Yes.
That's what that's
It's needed here.
What we missing.
It's needed here in Columbus. For boys and girls, they need that here. I mean, 'cause we have a lot of hoopers on both ends, boys and girls, and that hoop should be here. Like, it should be here.
It's sad that Columbus got all these,
all the talent and
right.
nowhere to showcase
nowhere for them to go. You gotta go to somebody's high school. Everybody gotta go to open gym.
Open gyms.
You want to see them?
Try to get to the Y when you can.
Yeah.
But yeah, something like the hoop would be ideal. So hopefully, so anybody that sponsors, y'all want to get together?
Yeah. Get this shit.
together.
Yeah, let's
Put
get
the money
together.
I got 25 on it. Dollars.
I got 5 on it. But again, thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me. I was so nervous.
Oh
no, this is home.
Yeah,
right.
This is Uncle Luke's house. This is Uncle Luke's house. So
Right.
relax. We keep it chill. We just talk. So
Exactly.
next time we really want the girls to come because I want to meet some of them. We want them to come out here.
Tell them to put on their filter a little bit. But yeah, I got you.
It's YouTube though, so we good.
That's all right.
We good. So
Yeah.
all right. Well, again, thank you. Again, 94 Feet and Beyond will be back next week.
Yes,
Yes.
we will.
Again, tag us if your girls are doing something good. Tag us. She got next. DM, Facebook and Twitter. Instagram's not up, is it?
No.
Okay, but just let us know what they're doing, and we'll see you all next week.
Yes.
Peace.
Take care.
Flex. Yeah. Way back when I was broke, they ain't want me, but now I'm back up. That's a fake son, I started to count you, I'm getting my stacks up. If you ain't on that money mission, only words that I got is back up. Cause I got a couple killers if you're feeling like you need to act up. Please don't try to come and flex again. Don't flex, see, I got more essays than a Mexican. No stress, your girl scream my name like my only friend. And they need to on me like my only friend. Pack of pussies when it's in the holster. Fast money like I'm moving soda. Fast money hitting in a sofa. And my wrist is flicking like I'm cooking soda. Yo, girl said she want me. Had to diss her. She was with the homie, so we had to flip her. She was going down. Yelling timber and that Nina on me, so don't try to tempt her. Really just started going by the code. Man, that's sleeping on me. Man, it's getting old. You can call the game, but they never fold. You can play the game, but my player pose. Derek on me, but that speaker knockers. Got that taller on me and it's going young. Cause I ain't never worried. Say I'm about to button up your shirt, but my thought to stop you like, whoa. Man, these rappers getting bold, telling stories like they fold. I never fold, pull up 100s, I'm flexing. Yo, go steady trying to text me, and she just met me. I show her the real, she let me. So don't try to test me, and I'm going lefty. She pull up with Fancy, I'm flexing. She said she wanted some shifty, like. It's crazy how the story goes, baby. And I know you've been stressing a lot lately. It's crazy how her soul is screaming to save me. And I know what she wants, she's screaming, lay me down, 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 down. Baby screaming, lay down, ain't no time to play now. Change my player ways, crazy how she thinks I changed now. Yeah. Money mission, we need it, so give us them fast bucks. 100K up in the safe for my Uzi and Max, I be strapped up. If you talking tough, we hit you up, never ask when you act up. Better believe, we flex and run the game on all of these niggas. Yeah, money mission, we need it. Money mission, we need it. I wanna ball, I want my name on the Hall of Fame wall. This ain't a game I go out like LeBron, and when I hit the stage, you know I'm a star. Yeah. Me and Keith it on a mission to get our stats up. Yeah, catch a flight tonight.